Okay, everybody. Hi, everybody. Just making sure this can play. And this is really important. This is breaking news on day 2038, 37, 38. So much is happening. And of course, it's very late. It's after 1 a.m. in the morning. But it can't be helped because things are breaking so fast, so much is happening, and I want to be able to share all of this with you. So tomorrow, when you wake up or when you have time, you can look at this and be informed, So this is day 2037. Yep, 2037. Okay. But there's no time to sleep. There's no time to sleep because there's so much at stake. There's so much at stake. We're talking about the sovereignty of Mexico, the sovereignty of the United States. This is what is going on right now. We are in a battle for the sovereignty of our countries. And so we're working together. We are absolutely working together, and El Mencho is no longer alive, but his books are open. His books are open, and this video here is on YouTube. It's in Spanish. God bless you if you speak Spanish. And if it could be translated into English, I'm sure it will, but I want to get it out to you ASAP because it is the hideout of El Mencho when this raid took place, and he lost his life, and the books were recovered. And what the books show is that President Trump has been right all along, and he has had the courage, the unbelievable courage. There's been attempts on his life, okay? Attempts on his life. He has had the courage to say to the public that Mexico is a narco state. And that is, it's like a parent saying to a child what's wrong so that they can fix it, right? It's the language of love, right? Especially for a neighboring country that's so close, and also our country, the United States. He has said we have allowed monsters in our country, meaning the CJNG, the same Mexican cartel were in all 50 states of our country. And so, by saying to Mexico, you're a narco state, we have to work together because we are becoming a narco state, right? We are next. And we were on the verge of losing our country. And it may still happen unless we face reality and work together and get back our sovereignty so that we can have a United States of America and a Mexico. And I hope I say that right because it's all from my heart. Because without Mexico being sovereign, without the United States being sovereign, I can't get back my son's remains. You know, that's it, maybe that's selfish of me, but I want my son's remains. Okay, we know that this cartel operated as flesh peddlers, human flesh eaters, um, and poisoning our families, poisoning our communities, and ruining our economies. And this is what the books say. So let me play it and then I'm very emotional with this because the books are so damning, so damning. And it is a real blessing that they're out. So I want to get those out to you.
estaban los documentos que muestran cuánto pagaba sus
Should I start
sicarios y
over? Let me
halcones.
start
En una de
over.
las cabañas usadas por el Mencho estaban los documentos que muestran cuánto pagaba sus sicarios y halcones, las aportaciones de los jefes de plaza, así como los gastos por su operación y las ganancias millonarias obtenidas por su actividad criminal. Incluso una de las páginas obtenidas por el diario El Universal describe que en diciembre, tan solo de 2 comunidades de Jalisco obtuvieron más de $900,000 libres. Y otra confirma este experto que analizó los documentos, revela los sobornos que supuestamente entregaba para seguir operando.
Lo que se puede ver en esta narconómina son pagos directos a directores de policías, a funcionarios públicos, a comandantes de la Guardia Nacional.
En una de las cabañas usadas por el Mencho estaban los documentos que
Wow.
muestran cuánto pagaba sus sicarios y
Wow. Just wow. So let's go here. Uh-oh. Okay. Let's see if I post. It's been really something. Okay, so here I am. I see it. And okay, so here's the post. Here's the post. How Metro secret payroll captured millions in bribes to police, 2 lookouts, 2 armed guards, 2 government officials, even 2 prosecutors, even all the way up to the highest leadership. These are bribes being paid. And in December alone, I think it was 17 million that they made after everything, right? Or maybe I'm getting the numbers wrong. This just came out, and so I want to make sure I got all the numbers right. It is look, the former attorney general's house, 15,000 pesos for December. Y'all, I hope you go through this. The thing that stuck out for me after watching Candace Owens today is so much money spent on slot machines. Who do they have a contract with? Because it seems like the family circle of Erika Kirk sells slot machines. I That was so weird to me today when that came up tonight after watching Candace Owens this morning. Just absolutely spotters. Yeah, spotters. Thank you. Let me see. We have a Spanish. Thank you, Laura, for coming on. Thank you so much for your dedication. I don't know where the remains are. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Spotters, hitmen, government officials, high-end government officials. Just look at the Arellano family. Yes, absolutely. So this is like huge. Wouldn't you agree, Laura? This is huge, huge news that this has come out. And I even as I get more documents, I will post them up in the comment section. I did post some already in the comments section. But what this reveals is Mexico was a narco state. And so when Mexico gets its sovereignty back, oh my gosh, you've got Sinaloa cartel being really hit with El Chapo being extradited and sentenced. You have El Mayo making the plea deal. He was not really extradited properly, right? That was a mess. And he making a plea deal, and that's Sinaloa cartel. They're trying to, I guess, replace or revamp, but so many of them. We're talking about, gosh, I want to say way over 100 of these leaders. And then, of course, the Gulf cartel and now CJNG. And I think Juarez cartel is going to come after that. But what I'm really concerned about is dismantling the El Paso Mormon faction cartel. Okay, that's that those are the Jeffrey Epstein elite group individuals that have done both the United States and Mexico so much damage. And I would say other countries, because their trafficking was international. Their trafficking was absolutely international. And I hope everyone understands this. But Richard pulled on that thread that has unraveled everything. He's at the center of this all. Everywhere I look, it's like Richard is the center, and it's intertwined with the Walmart. It's intertwined with Charlie Kirk. It's intertwined with the flooding of the Guadalupe River there, the camps, right? He's the center. It's the center. He's the center, because he was the whistleblower. He was the one that dared stay reliable and blew the whistle and blew the whistle hard, because he wasn't just talking to one person. He was talking to FBI Houston, the IG, the FBI in El Paso. Well, what good did that do him? His identity got leaked. The CID, the White House, you name his whole chain of command, the El Paso police, the Child Protective Services, 911. He was speaking to, and that is in a tampered file, right? So who knows all the other things that were going on around what Richard was reporting, because so much of his files we know, because of CID Tavita Nusa, was tampered with and leaked. And we know Soto, the CID head of that office, was absolutely part of this. So yeah, he pulled on the string, and look, this is just well, we've been counting the days. We had no idea that it was this big. Um, but we've been counting the days until it gets dismantled. We knew that the Army had been infiltrated, that the El Paso law enforcement and judicial system had been infiltrated. We knew that the media had been infiltrated because of the lies they were spreading. It was, you're just like, really? Really? This is a U.S. Army soldier, and I mean, just a young, beautiful man, and you want to do this to him? It was just so disgusting, right? It was just so disgusting. So we've been, working very, very hard to put everything right. And we've been waiting for this day and we're not done yet. We're not done. We haven't even really gotten started, right? We haven't even really gotten started. So, yeah, so let's get on. And one of those things is also James Bonneau Montoya. He is a total fraud. He's a total fraud. Look at what they've done now. Look at we have been reporting on this for over a year. And why did we look into this? Because, of course, Bill Hicks, the prior DA of the 34th Judicial District in El Paso, which matters a lot to our son's case, right? They're the prosecutor. They could be doing so much. Like arresting Leilani Hart, right? They could get Leilani Hart arrested, absolutely. And and the rest of them, so it matters a lot who's in that office. And with Bill Hicks, we knew that he was a fraud, that he was a usurper. I called him a usurper, that he was illegitimate because he did not sign the statement of officer. And then when we called him out on it, with amazing help that notified us, right? No, great sources that we have, um, uh, and called him out on it, then he went and uh, turned it in after the oath months later. You can't do that. The Constitution, the Texas Constitution says the anti-bribe statement of officer must be signed first before you take the oath of office. Before you take the oath, you have to promise the people that you got that position without taking a bribe from El Mencho, right? From El Mencho. You can't take a bribe from El Mencho, right? You've got to take, but they don't want to sign that anti-bribe statement. And then they just go into the oath illegally, and they are frauds. And so when people know this, they can use that in their court, and they can botch every case. Every case can be botched, or fight that their case has been botched because of an illegal DA. So when James Bonneau Montoya came in, I didn't even know his name was James Bonneau, but we were. And that makes his paperwork illegal because that's his legal name. And he's supposed to, as a DA, use his legal name. And he uses James Montoya, which, is very deceptive to the people there in El Paso. And so we checked out. We wanted to see if he had installed properly as a DA, legally as a DA. And he didn't. He didn't. They don't want to sign the anti-bribe line. Why? Well, we know why. Because of the likes of El Mencho, right? Paying narco money to even prosecutors' offices. That's what's going on here. And so what happened is, because of our inquiries, he quickly backdated a statement of officer with a 2028 stamp. Now they look at this. Let's see if I can get this on here. They even crossed it out now and added 2 more stamps. This is so illegal, y'all. And the district clerk should be so ashamed of herself for accepting this, because there's not even an initial on this. You cannot do this. To backstamp to the 13th of November, right? Let's see if I can get up here close. This is the 13th of November, 2024. They backstamped even to the minute, 252. 252. See the 252 here? They backstamped it. You can't backstamp it. This is so illegal. It is so illegal. Uh, and this is proof that they backstamped it, because we have the originals that we've been complaining about for a long time. And then you've got the district. So this is a county, right? This is a county stamp. And you've got the district approving it. What are they on El Mencho's? Let's look at the ledgers to see if El Paso district clerk is on El Mencho's bribe list, right? Because someone's paying for this garbage. Someone is paying for this kind of tampering with documents. Wow. For the prosecutor in El Paso that has confirmed CJNG infiltrated in the law enforcement, in the judicial, in the business sector, in the El Paso Mormon cartel group. Okay? We need a prosecutor, and we have this garbage? Yeah. Yeah. It's, I'm a little, I did post up, I did share Candace Owens episode 1 and 2 today. And I think they're very important to Richard's case, because it has to do with Fort Huachuca. It has to do with the military. She calls out that the military, she is convinced that the military are responsible for the death of Charlie Kirk. Um, we say that the military and also Connell Wetton, right? Connell Wetton and the El Paso Mormon faction cartel, and they're in cahoots with the military, they're in cahoots with the Mexican cartel, are responsible for, because don't forget about Ray Velarde, you know, don't forget about him, the cartel's lawyer. Um, being part of this. So they are responsible for the death of our son, Richard Halliday, the hero, the national hero, and the military. Absolutely, because Richard was asking for a transfer. He was fearing for his life, and they denied him safety. And he was forcibly removed from his barracks room on Fort Bliss, where he told me he couldn't leave his room. He was afraid for his life. And oh my God, they forcibly removed him when his security detail did not show up. And they took him downstairs to the basement room in the arms room, and they took his life, and they stole his body off of Fort Bliss. This is the responsibility, the fault of DES Thomas Kane, who is the director for the security on Fort Bliss at the time. He was the guy, and they stole his body off of Fort Bliss, and they trafficked to Mexico, and every day more and more evidence secures our position that says all evidence indicates his body, his remains were dumped at Plenitude Crematorium, which is huge news today, huge breaking news. But this is really important, because what Candace Owens has been revealing is this infiltration by the El Paso Mormon faction cartel. And she even talks about the links of Erika Franchi Kirk, with the Mormon faction. Okay. She doesn't say Mormon faction. She just says Mormon. But I want a distinction here. This is a Mormon faction that is absolutely connected to Fort Huachuca, to the everything surrounding the deception, the asymmetric warfare training, the pilot's daughter of Lolita Express, Jeffrey Epstein, right there in the middle of all of that. Um, it is This is the infiltration. This is the Trojan horse. And it has everything to do with this Mormon faction that they impersonate Catholics, they impersonate evangelicals, they impersonate Anglicans, they impersonate. I had the, let's just say I had individuals that came up to me that told me that they were the same faith as I was, and I knew that they were not. I knew that they were not. Okay. Because faith means you believe something. You believe something, and then, you know them by their fruit. If they believe something, then you know them by their fruit. And so, yeah, it's just so clear that there was a lot of deception, impersonation going on. And in Richard's case, it was just huge, huge impersonation, impersonating us, our family, cashing in on our son. I don't say that often enough, but absolutely, they wanted to monetize Richard's remains. And of course, that's what these people do. They are flesh peddlers. They are human flesh peddlers, and worse and worse. And so that is, and of course, that is the funeral home fraud. Um, and they don't even know, really, they don't even know for sure if Charlie Kirk was buried, because there's so much fraud all around in this. And so everything she's saying is very, let's say it's intertwined with Richard's case. And so I did share those, and I hope that you will watch them to understand the level of fraud here, the level of infiltration, okay, of this. And I wrote it out and posted it, talking about the Mormon colonies, the polygamous colonies, the them having loads of, I mean, loads of wives, y'all, loads of, it's like John of God, it's just, and they'll have loads of children and they monetize it all, okay? And so their belief, to me, because evidence indicates, evidence confirms so much of this, their faith is, of course, to themselves, but aligns very much with the project, the Venus Project, that Jeffrey Epstein was doing at Zorro Ranch and in Santa Fe in the laboratory there, trying to um, doing geno and DNA and all of this, trying to find eternal life, and then monetize it, right? Monetize it, turn it into a financial instrument, this biological study, and turn it into a digitized financial instrument. Um, that's, to me, that's what's going on here, because the level of deception in order to place yourself in high positions, and also to fraudulently get Walmart mass shooting victims funds illegally, right? The level of fraud in all of this, to monetize people's families' uh, remains, right? While you're giving them ground up construction debris in urns, so that you can play with, monetize these bodies. Um, they have no respect. This sacrilege. They have no respect for the human body. There's no Christian indication of that. This is the image of God. This is to be respected. The body is the temple. There's no. It's all about monetization, right? Of children, of women, of everything. And so it's all being displayed for everyone to see. And they did that to our son, right? Where the army could have, transferred him out to back to Korea, right? Where we have family. They could have sent him that far away, right? And he would have been very happy. Um, but no, they wanted power over him, and they had to silence him forever, because what he was reporting, his bravery, was just uh, deserving of the highest honor of the land. Okay? Really. Deserving of the highest honor of the land. So I'm going to get emotional. So yeah, so I hope you watch that. And of course, this Mofar and Farfar. If you don't know what that means, I'll explain it to you, because I think it is such an uplifting point in all of this, because God always provides, right? The truth always provides. God already won. God already won, and he is, if we just keep knocking, knock, seek, and ye shall find. Knock and the doors will be open to you. If we keep investigating, God's going to give us all these nuggets, right? Answers. So this is one of them. Uh, Erika Kirk calls her grandfather Mofar, okay? Because she identifies with her Swedish side, which is her father's side, right? Um, but the problem with that is that if it's her Swedish side, which is her father's side, then her grandfather, who would be her father's father, would be Farfar, not Mofar, because Mo means mother, Far means father. The mother's father, the father's father. That's how their language works. It's like that in Korea too, in Korean. We don't have that in English, and as I understand it, you don't have it in Spanish. But in Swedish, you don't call your father's father, which would be your grandfather, Mofar. You would call him Farfar. And that's not what she was calling him. She was calling him Mofar. So, who is this grandfather? Her mother's father. And that is what Candace is really looking into. And, a lot of red flags went up for us. And our question is, since she has found these ties to the Mormon faction now, then okay, and we know through over 5 years through Leilani Hart's affidavit, many other documents, all kinds of news stories, that this Mormon faction that is engaged in polygamy is like a sex cult. Okay, it's like a sex cult. It is just horrible, and um, and they engage in incest. They engage in, you know, what is this? Sister wives. So you have all of these women married to the same man, I guess, and they're called sister wives. And those sister wives will raise each other's children. Okay, you have all these children, you raise each other's children, and it's like, okay, what's going on? Who, you know, is Lori really Erica's mother, or what's going on here? Because she's calling this grandfather Mofar, and it's not Lori's father. So whose father is it? Okay. So is it her father's father? That's really weird, because then it would be Farfar, right? So there's just a lot of secrecy, a lot of questions, and I just saw that opportunity to explain to you what we've been dealing with for years with this Mormon faction, that they are just up to no good, and they have their view of family is so different from the Christian view. They live so far removed from the Christian view of family that I don't even know if they understand it. By God's grace, they'll understand it, but they are very far removed, and that's why you see the developments with all the pedophilia, with all of this gender confusion, transgenderism, all of this stuff. I- It's uh, it's because they don't define the family as God has defined the family. The family is God's institution, okay? And it's between one woman and one man, okay? One woman and one man. And now we understand why that is so important. And I have behind me, and I'll turn this off because I think I have behind me from the beginning, I've had from, as it's been years, um, when Richard when all this happened with Richard, I was painting, and this is a picture that I was painting of Theodora, right? That's Justinian and Theodora, and in the background, it is Saint Sophia. And who in the history that I know of, um, and maybe someone out there can knows somebody else, but there is no person greater than Empress Theodora in codexing family law. Family law, okay? And that has been so chipped away, but it explains why the documents, the marriage, the divorce certificates, all of the is they're so tampered with. They're not complete. The dates are weird. Everything is weird. That's what Candace is saying. I haven't looked at all of Erika Kirk's and her family's documents like Candace has. But she's saying they're tampered. They're tampered. Something is not right. Okay. Well, we know in our son's case, they tamper the documents, right? They tamper birth certificates. They tamper death certificates. They tamper everything because they are engaged in illegal family activities. Okay. And we know that the Harts are a polygamous family. Okay. We know that. That's been confirmed. And so, of course, Leilani has and James have now been divorced. But what she claims happened in her household and what they facilitated, the worst crimes against children. And then you have Connell Wenton, who goes to their ward, their Mormon faction ward, uh, and um, leaking Richard's identity to the cartel while he is protecting the likes of Leilani Hart, Dallas Hart, James Hart, um, Tavita Nusa, Solomon Anusa, Thomas Kane too, same ward. So yeah, it it is it explains so much that we didn't know um, at the beginning of all of this. So and they impersonate. I'm telling you, they impersonate other Christian faiths. Um, maybe Jewish faith, right? That because that is now confirmed at Fort Huachuca that they were doing that as asymmetric warfare tactic, military deception. That's what they were doing there. Can you believe it? Training people to infiltrate the Christian faith. And they didn't mention the Jewish faith. They only mentioned the Christian faith. And yeah, to deceive people, to pretend like they were someone they weren't. Um, so that is, really breaking news everywhere. And to have the Mormon faction be connected to in what they believe in, this, trying to get this highest level of eternal life, it totally aligns with the Venus Project that um, Jeffrey Epstein was conducting. And I will tell you that maybe he believed it. Many people that invested in it believed it. Some people still believe it. But according to the Bible, it's a fraud. And if he, has half a brain, and maybe he's still alive, I don't know. This was then a Ponzi scheme. A Ponzi scheme, maybe that they believed in. But it was great investment money, to try to hunt for eternal life. But that only belongs to God, y'all. And we already have it. We already have it, but it's on God's terms, right? It's on God's terms. That's what makes him God. It's not on our terms. We just can't go into the lab and wish-washy and whatever and make so many children, torture them and suffer torturing, suffering, eating, whatever they were doing and still do. It is, yeah, it's not on that terms. That's only going to get you to hell. Okay, that's only going to get you to hell, and a living hell, and a living hell like the minute you do it, right? It's yeah. So, and for others. So, this is all being revealed, um, is a really good thing. Now we need to demand accountability. We need to drive accountability, and we're seeing that they're making slight moves, and they're making moves on. Another breaking story is with the Plenitude Crematorium with Jose Luis Aureliano's release. They have appealed this judge, and I think they're pressing charges against the judge that released him. So, and I'll get more clarification on that tomorrow, but that is really big breaking news. And so, they feel the pressure of you. They feel the pressure of you. So, keep praying, keep posting, keep sharing. All your sharing is just um, driving them to do the right thing. That's what's happening. So we've had in the weekly, we've had millions of views, and that is we're not like El Menchos. We're not like the CJNG. We don't want to go out and be violent, be vile and violent and all of that. We want to do things legally, and then have them arrested. And then for those that do capital punishment crimes, they need to face capital punishment legally. So this is why you matter so much, because this is a team effort, and all of your sharing is it liking, sharing, following. Um, this is what is going to get our sovereignty back in the United States and the sovereignty for Mexico. Um, yeah, so that is, uh, and then and then a lot of yeah, the beautiful places in both areas can be enjoyed so much better. So yeah, I'm gonna probably end with that very positive note. Um, just so much going on, and make sure I read all of what Laura has to say. Oh my goodness, yeah. Yeah, CPS, but CPS was Tavita Nusa, right? CPS was Tavita Nusa. James was IDS Pablo. He was Veterans Benefits. Um, yeah, that's a big one. And we have a new VA, I guess you call him a director now, there in El Paso. So we'll see what happens with that. Um, yeah, Greg Abbott he's compromised. Okay, he's compromised with the CJNG, and so is Ted Cruz. Okay, and so is Veronica Escobar, and so is Beto O'Rourke. Beto O'Rourke's really deep in this. So we're going to have an El Mencho book moment. But they might even be in El Mencho's book, okay? Because CJNG are all in on all in every state, all 50 states. So as this book gets looked at, it's going to be interesting. I wonder if I'm going to see Ted Cruz's name in there. It's going to be like Jeffrey Epstein's Files 2.0, but instead of Jeffrey Epstein's, it's going to be El Mencho's. So this is a really big day, a big deal today that they were able to capture. They're very detailed ledgers and their books. Yeah. Yes. So It's um these are the vicious negotiations for Richard's remains, and they're really protecting those remains with everything that they have because it's a big deal, y'all. He's a big deal. And yeah, so keep praying and keep sharing, keep posting, keep liking, and I will be